continue with class Kosher Kitchen, and we start with the Sefer Shmiras Haloshon. Today's topic is idle conversations. Okay. Distinguished Torah scholar offered the following advice. On Shabbos afternoon, in the summertime, when Shalosh Seudos often ends before dark, and people go outside to enjoy fresh air, never stand outside of the synagogue or study hall and carry on a conversation with someone. When such conversation do take place, what usually happens is the two people are joined by third and fourth until the large group is congregated. Each person proceeds to relate whatever interesting development occurred in his business, on his street, or elsewhere during the week, and during the week that passed. Inevitably, such discussion lead to Yetzer Hara and lightheadedness. And who are to blame? The two who initiated the discussion. A wise man will consider ramification of these actions before he acts. So it's very interesting. In the summer we have longer days, of course, right? Of course, as we all know. And according to this, it's in some communities they do mincha a little earlier. I'm not sure why is that the case. I'm not sure, right? But then between mincha and marif, there is still some time. So in the places where I live, they actually not all, but most of the places they do mincha 1 hour and a quarter before the Shabbos ends. So that way, we do mincha. Then whoever goes to Shiur the Shlishi goes to Shiur the Shlishi. So it's like 1 hour. So until they eat, not even, 1 hour until they eat. Until they say Birkat Mazel. It's not too much time to socialize, and then they come back. Right? Whoever wants to learn. I never go there. Always learn, but it's not much time basically. But here they say that the Shiur the Shlishi ends very early, so everybody goes outside, and you can only it's very simple to predict how it's going to end up. People who are not learning, or even people who are learning, but there is nobody to talk to, so they don't want to feel left out. So they start a conversation that other people are interested in, right? That's a big issue, right? So don't put yourself in all of these situations. I would say this teach the righteous seek to find favor in the very area in which they sinned. Okay? So Tanchuma Parsha Beshalach 24. Therefore, the first step for one who has caused the others to accept or speak Yetzer Hara is to accustom himself not to seek among the groups who engage in idle discussion, contrary to his habit thus far. According to Shlach, this suggestion is alluded in a verse, "Do not be a gossip monger among your people," Vayikra 19:16. This can be interpreted homiletically, Rehil, gossip monger, right? Do not walk among your people. So it's like a abbreviation. Rehil. I don't know. Okay. Maybe from the back to the front. I don't know. There is a man where you are liable to repeat past sins. So let's do this piece again, and we're going to explain. So our sages teach that the righteous seek to find favor in a very area in which they sinned, and it's from Medrash Tanchuma. So in simple words, what it says here, wherever this question that was asked in a different context a few times in the past 2 weeks, last week for sure, this week I think I don't remember, but for sure in a few times it was asked. So how do you do Teshuvah? So you do Teshuvah, you put yourself fences. Right? If you know that you felt in this area, that you will build the fence, right? Therefore, the first step for one who has you see that Tanhuma already called this person righteous. I'm just reading into it, right? So righteous, why? Because the person decided to do Teshuvah. As soon as he decided to do Teshuvah, he in some sense already righteous. Therefore, the first step for one who causes others to accept or speak Lashon Hara, whether he said it or he said Lashon Hara, he was one of the listeners, right? Is to accustom himself not to think among the groups who engage in idle discussion. So, and even in idle discussion of like empty words, it's only a matter of time until they start with the weather, with the traffic, with the who is going to win in election, right? But and then it's going to go to Lashon Hara directly. Okay, so do not seek among these idle groups that talk idle talk, contrary to his habits thus far. So he was doing that, and that's how he was the one who is saying Lashon Hara. Now he builds himself fences. That's what we meant when we explained that, right? And he's staying away from this group. According to Shlach, this suggestion is alluding in the verse, "Do not be a gossip monger among you people." So that's the famous one, right? This can be interpreted homiletically, gossip monger. Do not walk among your people, among the groups where you are liable to repeat the past sins. So don't put yourself in a dangerous situation. So if you spoke Lashon Hara before, especially in the same group when you feel comfortable, might with them to share some secrets of others, Chas v'shalom, so that's dangerous. Don't be there. Additionally, one should use the power of speech to arouse his brethren, to strengthen their commitment to Torah and Mitzvot, the Mitzvot observance. And he should strive to bring peace among the Jews. So let's read again and explain. Additionally, one should use the power of speech to arouse his brethren, to strengthen their commitment to Torah and Mitzvot. So meaning, but from my experience, don't try it, from my experience, it's my personal experience, don't try to talk to a group. Because even if one person would want to agree with you, he would be embarrassed to agree with you in front of other person, right? So if you decide to talk to somebody, do it one-on-one. So we had, for many years, we had this policy not to mix guests. So only one guest, or only one family, but not two family, or not two like separate single guys or single girls. Of course, we never invite them in the same time. Of course, not in our house. Right? So it would be girls' night, whether it's like older ladies or men's night, whatever was it. Okay. And right, and like even in friends, it's better not to. If you want to host one person, or if they were very, very similar, like in ideology, so you can have host two. Okay. Stop here. So we continue with our class, Kosher Kitchen. I think today we're going to finish this chapter, Beezrat HaShem. So our chapter, it's not was not easy for sure to follow it. It's very, very difficult. Difficult meaning it's a lot of details, but if you go over the same information a few times and you see the charts and you try to put it in perspective, so it's not so hard. Okay. So chapter 6 again, common Basar v'chalav problem. So Basar v'chalav, meat and milk problems. Okay, now section H. Food splattering onto a pot of the other opposite type. I think it was the last time somebody had the question and we say we left it for the next time. Okay, so because I saw the next topic. So it's splattering onto a pot on the other type. Okay, so let's see. So as we said before, as a precautionary measure, don't cook two foods like of opposite type at the same time, or don't have them on a stove. Maybe you will finish cooking daily dish. So take this pot out, put it somewhere on a counter, and then you continue with your meat dish. So that would be the most proper way to do things. Okay, continue. Food splattering onto a pot of the opposite type. Number one, a splatter on the side of the pot. So, okay, even though we said nobody is going to eat, right? It's not, this side of the pot is not going to touch the food, but let's see. When droplets of milk splatter onto the outside of the hot meat pot, or the reverse, it's always the same, right? Dairy taste absorbed into the pot. We are faced with two questions. So it's again from outside, it did not go in. Cases when it go in, we already covered in the previous parts, right? Now we from outside. Okay. So one more time, when the droplets of milk splatter into the outside of the hot meat pot, hot, right, meaning the transfusion of the taste, as we said before, dairy taste is absorbed into the pot. Okay, why? Because it was hot. We are faced with two questions: the status of the food in the pot and the status of the pot itself. Very interesting, right? Are we allowed to eat food? So, I mean, if you think about it, why would they even ask this question, right? So food is inside, it has a lid, let's say. So how this food, this milk, few drops of the milk are going to absorb into the wall of the pot and then transfer, like it's going to go through the whole wall, metal wall, and appear from the other side, right? So, I mean, let's see. Very good question. This halacha depends on whether the milk splatter on a pot wall below the food level or above the food level, or whether or not the food in a pot contain a value of a mixture of 60 times the splatter. The question regarding the permissibility of the food and the further use of the pot is complex and must be presented to a Rav. Okay, he says see Shulchan Aruch in Reman 92:6. Okay, so let's he does not give the answer, but let's try again, at least understand the questions. So the situation is, one more time, we have a dairy food where I was cooking there. We have a meat pot, and this milk, to simplify, milk spilled on a meat pot. So, and the question is, it's very interesting. So we have two questions. What should we do with the food? Is food still kosher? Right, that's our first question. And second question, whether or not we have to, what is with the pot? Do we have to kosher it, or it's enough just to wash it? Okay. So, and just practical thing, you don't wash it in what is it, in a meat sink and not in a milk sink, right? So if you have to, so I have to wash it in a bathroom or something, right? Or somewhere on a counter, because it could be a mixture, it could be an issue. Okay, so two questions: what to do with the food and what to do with the pot itself. So, and it's very interesting. So he said if your milk splatter on the wall below the food level. Okay, so let's say if the food takes half of the pot. So if it's splattered on the bottom where the food is, or above the food level. Just a second. And then the second question, so if it can be nullified, let's say even, so we go by even the worst case scenario. So it was accident, even if milk went inside, so that's much more dangerous than it was splattered to outside of container. So even if it's milk like splattered inside of the pot, so if it's actually 1:60, the ratio 1:60, so this the taste of the what is it, of the milk was nullified. So after the fact, there is no problem. Okay, he does not give this conclusion. I'm not sure why, at least about the food, but we learned it before, so I'm not sure why would he do that. usually when it's splatter, it's not like a lot, right? To have like one, more than 1 to 60. I don't know how much it has splatter, and maybe you like have just a little in the meat pot. I'm not sure how is it possible. I mean, no, it's very unlikely scenario. So in most of the cases, I mean, even though he said that it's complex to must be presented to Torah, I would say if it's this it was not too much milk, meaning less than 1 to 60, so you can the food is good, right? Just pour it to a different container. The food is good, but should you do? The food is good, but pot must be kosher for sure. Okay. So one more time, why? Because the taste absorbed into the wall again because the pot was hot. Okay, continue. Second situation, splatter on a pot lid. Okay, if milk splatter onto the lid of meat pot that is cooking, it is this halacha depends on whether the food or the pot is boiling or not. Okay, so one more time the situation. Milk is cooking next to the meat, and milk splatters on the lid of the meat pot, right? So now we need to understand whether the content of the meat pot was boiling or not. Okay, so let's see. A boiling pot. The food in covered boiling pot is assumed to steam up for sure, right? It's going to steam up and rise to the top of the pot. Bring the food into contact with the pot cover. So that's like steam would rise, and the steam would reach the lid. Okay, so direct contact. The lid must be removed immediately and koshered. Okay, one must consult Rav regarding the permissibility of the food. Okay, so again, I'm not sure. Tell the truth, I'm not sure what is missing, but it was accident, right? So nobody did it purposely, and for sure it's. I mean, most likely. I don't want to say for sure. Most likely is less than 1 to 60, the volume. So I understand why he said to remove the lid as soon as possible and kosher it. Okay, because. But on another hand, like it just in my mind, like how strong it should be, like this milk taste to go through the lid all the way. Of course, we're trying to be careful be on a safe side, but it's not very practical to assume that the taste would go like in a few minutes, even a few seconds, even minutes, would penetrate the metal lid or even glass lid. Okay. But okay, so the bottom line, I would say, as he said, he must remove the lid immediately, right? Kasher it, of course, wash it, kasher it, and but food is permitted. B, non-boiling pot. If the pot was not boiling, so it's more lenient, of course, at the time of the splatter, the food is unaffected. Okay. So meaning that it's not going to get absorbed. I mean, still, even in my mind, even if it's not boiling, still pot could be very hot. Okay. The pot lid must be removed immediately and requires caution if it was hot at that time. Okay. If the lid was removed before becoming hot, Yetzer Hara, it may merely be washed of any milk residue. If the lid remained on a pot until the food started steaming, the Halachah is the same as above. Okay, so let's do this piece one more time and we're going to explain. So of this more lenient case when the food is not boiling, meaning it's not steaming, right? If the food was not boiling at the time of the splatter on the top of the lid, right? The food is unaffected. So at least, okay, here it is clear that the food is good. Okay. The pot lid must be removed immediately and requires Kosher if it was hot at the time. So meaning hot is Yetzer Hara, when we said when the hand recoils, right? That's Yetzer Hara. So that's considered to be hot. So of course, content that is not going to boil at this temperature, but it's considered hot, meaning that it could absorb the taste. If the lid was removed before it became Yetzer Hara, so meaning it was hot but not so hot, maybe they just put it on the fire, I don't know, 5 minutes ago. Okay. Below, it may merely be washed of any milk residue, and the lid remains on the pot until the food started residue. Sorry. So if it's below Yetzer Hara, it was not hot, so you just wash it. If the lid remained on the pot until food started steaming, meaning it was a splatter, the way I understand this last sentence, it was a splatter when it was cold and the person did not see it, and then the lid remained on the pot until the food starts steaming. The Halachah is the same as above, meaning it's questionable what to do with the lid and what to do with the pot. But we said most likely that it's less than 1 to 60, so you can use the food and you have to kosher the lid. Continue. Number 3. Splatter on the pot handle. If milk splattering occurred on a hot meat pot handle, Rav should be consulted. Okay. Okay. So I don't think I don't see the big issue here, but of course we don't know many things. Okay. I mean, if milk splatter on a hot meat pot handle, so if it's less than 1 to 60, should not affect. It does not even touch. Like to say that the taste from this milk is going to travel through the handle into the pot, like it penetrates the whole pot, it's a little far-fetched, the way I see it. Number 4, milk and or meat splatter on a pareve pot. Okay, that's very interesting. So milk or meat splatter on a pareve pot. Okay. If a droplet of meat, gravy, or milk splatter onto the pareve pot, for example, if a gravy splatter on the metal hot water urn, one should consult Rav to the same status to the status of the urn, and whether or not the water is currently in the urn may be used for daily. Okay. Okay. So basically, it's very interesting. So let's read one more time, but it's very, very strict opinion, and I'm not sure what they're based on, and he does not explain. So one more time, a meat splatter, milk or meat splatter on a pareve pot. If droplets of meat gravy or milk splatter on a pareve pot, for example, gravy splatter on a metal hot water urn, one should consult Rav as to the status of the urn. Maybe you have to you see the example that he gives, that does not make sense to me. I'm going to explain why. Because this urn is usually it's insulated, so it has a few layers of insulation. So this part this part like outside layer is never hot. It's always cold. I mean, it could be a little warm, but not more than that. A little warm. Okay, but even if we say it splattered on a regular pot, pareve pot. Let's say we cooked spaghetti in it, right? So the question is, and whether or not the water is currently in urn may be used for daily. Okay. I think my understanding that we can use it this water for daily. Okay, of course you have to wipe the splatter, but otherwise should not be any issue. Continue. Number 5. a hot splatter on a cold pot. If hot milk splatter on a cold meat pot, or the reverse, the food in a pot is unaffected. So because it does not absorb. A Rav should be consulted regarding the pot. One can prevent all problems of sewer splatter by avoiding placing cooking meat and dairy pots in a close proximity of each other. That's how we started. Okay, so let's see this last case. So he said that if hot milk splatter on a cold meat pot, or the reverse, the food in a pot is unaffected, right? Rav should be consulted regarding the pot. If that pot was cold, so most likely I think he would say don't just wash it good with the soap and that's it. Okay, but maybe he would say to Kosher. I'm not sure. I would say just wash it with soap, because it's not practical to say that the taste is going to travel through the thickness of the wall. Okay. Continue. Next section I. A pot of one type that is placed onto the liquid of another. So let's see. If milk or soup spills on a surface and flows toward the under the pot of the opposite type, or a pot is accidentally placed on a spill on a countertop, if neither the top nor the liquid nor the surface is hot, the pot is merely rinsed well in a lukewarm, not hot water. Okay, we're going to explain why. If any of them are hot, where there is a possibility that the taste was absorbed into the pot. We will discuss the case of the pot placed on a spill, but the same applies to a case of the spilled liquid that flows under the pot. We will use the example of the chicken soup in a dairy pot, but the same halacha applies in a reverse. The halacha depends upon the following: A, whether the surface upon which the soup spilled is hot or cold, and B, whether the dairy pot is hot or cold, and C, three things, whether the spilled soup is hot or cold. We will briefly discuss the issue involved by Rav, but a Rav must be consulted. So let's do this piece again. Before we go into details, let's try to understand the situation. So one more time, the topic is a pot of one type that is placed onto a liquid of another. Right? Something was spilled and they put a pot like on top of the spill. So let's see. If milk or a soup spilled on a surface and flows toward and under the pot of the opposite type. So I would assume maybe on a countertop, right? They spilled milk, right? And now this milk is flowing toward the meat pot, right? Or a pot was accidentally placed on a spill on a countertop. So okay, that doesn't matter. So the spilled on one kind or one type was in direct contact with another type. Okay, with another type pot. If neither the pot or the liquid nor the surface is hot, so all of them is cold. So why is saying surface? Maybe it was on a stove, right? So I guess, like in my mind, so maybe this is the practical example. If somebody have electric stove, so it's actually like when I say electric stove, I mean this like glass surface, right? And it's like flat. So if you spill, the liquid is going to stay there. Okay, so it's very, very possible. If you have a gas stove, it's not going to work because it's going to go inside. Okay, unless a lot spills. Okay, so he said if everything is cold, meaning the countertop is cold, the pot is cold, the liquid is cold, everything is cold. right? The pot is merely rinsed in a lukewarm, not hot water. So he said specifically in lukewarm. Why is that? Because if you're going to do with a hot water, maybe the taste is going to get absorbed. But if it's lukewarm, you just lukewarm is like room temperature. You just wash away and that's it. Continue. If any of them is hot, meaning the surface, the liquid, or the pot, right? Any of them is hot. There is a possibility that the taste was absorbed into a pot. Okay. We will discuss the case of the pot placed on a spill, but the same applies to a case if the spill liquid that flows under the pot. So I mean that doesn't matter. The liquid got to the pot, or pot was put in the liquid. What is the difference, right? We will use the example of chicken soup and dairy pot, okay? But same halacha applies in the reverse. The halacha depends upon the following. A, whether the surface upon which the soup is spilled, hot or cold. So one more time, whether the surface upon which the soup is spilled, hot or cold. So if it's a countertop, it's cold, right? Most likely. If it's a stove, it could be hot. Depends, right? It's first condition. Second, whether the dairy pot is hot or cold. So now with the first condition is the surface, hot or cold. Second is a pot, hot or cold. And the third one, whether spilled soup is hot or cold, the content, hot or cold. Okay. So if any of them is hot, as we said, it's possible that the pot is going to absorb the opposite taste and it presents an issue. We'll briefly discuss the issue involved, but he put it in bold. In bold, the Rav must be consulted. Okay, so let's see. Number one. So we just see a person who is not organized in their life. It's like so much suffering they go through. It pays to be organized, just a little, not to put yourself in that situation. Okay, so number one, a spill into the cold surface. Okay, so which is a spill on the cold surface. A, both pot and a liquid are hot. Okay, surface is cold, but we don't care much about surface. But now hot and liquid are hot, so that's of course an issue. For example, hot chicken soup spilled onto the cold dairy countertop. And flows under the hot dairy pot. I'm not sure why he said the countertop is dairy. Okay. One more time. So usually we don't care about countertop. Nobody eats from countertop. You just wash it and that's it. But let's see. For example, if hot chicken soup spills onto the cold dairy countertop, that's what it says, and flows under the dairy pot, okay, we understand the example. The pot must be koshered and the countertop must be koshered by pouring boiling water over the area of the spill. A Rav must be consulted regarding the status of the food in the pot. I think I understand what he's talking about. So we're talking about so people if they have opportunity to have two kitchens, that's the best. Or, I mean, even separate one kitchen, have a little kitchen, meaning two separate refrigerators, and that's proper way to do. Right, two separate refrigerators, two separate cabinets. Of course, for dairy you have less, and for paref and meat you have more, like more cabinets and maybe bigger stove. For dairy, if you have many children, of course, they require a lot of dairy food. Right, so in this case, the way I understand, in this case, you would have a dairy countertop. So because so sometimes maybe you're going to cut something on that countertop, right? And it's going to be dairy. That's the way I understand what he's talking about. But it's not practical to bring anything from a meat section of the kitchen into the dairy. That's why I was surprised he said the dairy countertop. Okay, so but let's work with this example. For example, if hot chicken soup spill onto cold dairy countertop, Right, so meaning for sure the taste from chicken went into this countertop. Flows on the hot dairy pot. Okay, so that's an issue. The pot must be koshered, and the countertop must be koshered by putting boiling water over the top, over the area it will the spill. So this countertop koshering is the easiest from all of these other things, right? So, and that's how you actually kosher for Pesach. You just pour this hot water. But I would say it depends. If you have formica, for example, it's not possible to kosher it because it's absorbent. If you have granite or marble or something like a stone or steel, so that's only those you can kosher. Okay, but I guess since it's I guess here he said anyway, just pour hot water. I'm not sure again if it's going to work with formica, or if you have a wood countertop. I don't think it's going to work. Right, but let's say it was stone to make it easier. It was metal to make it easier. Stainless steel, I don't know, whatever is it. So, okay, so we kosher the countertop area. A Rav must be consulted regarding the status of the food and the pot. So of course we would need to see if the food was 60 times more than the spill, and now it's not so simple. Just so we understand, right? When a few drops splatter on the side of the pot, okay, it's for sure it's less than 1 to 60, but this one it depends on the spill. So that's not such a simple case. We have to calculate. So pot for sure you have to kosher. So in my mind, the only question is about food. Are you allowed to eat it or not? Okay. Second scenario B: a hot pot placed on a cold liquid. So it had chicken soup right in the pot, was cold, put in on a cold spilled milk, right? If hot meat pot is placed on a cold milk, here we go, the pot must be koshered, right, because it's absorbed. One should consult Rav regarding the status of the food. So in my mind, in most of the cases, okay, let's see before I speak, there is commentary. If the pot was near the fire, even the food becomes prohibited. If the hot pot was near the fire, okay. Okay, so one more time we read and we explain. If hot meat pot is placed into the cold milk, the pot must be koshered. Okay, that's for sure because it is hot. It's absorbed the case. One should consult Rav regarding the status of the food. So again, we're trying to understand it's a 160 rule works or not. But they say if it's closer to the fire, so even the food becomes prohibited. Okay. Continue. Next one, C. A cold pot on a cold liquid. A cold pot on a hot liquid. So pot is cold. Content, I guess, it's also cold, but liquid is hot. If cold dairy pot is placed on a hot chicken soup, spill, right? They spill onto the cold countertop. Even the pot may be unaffected. Even the pot may be unaffected. A Rav should be consulted. The food in the pot is certainly not affected. So one more time. A cold pot on a hot liquid. So meaning that if pot is hot and the liquid is cold, so more likely that it's going to absorb the taste. But if it's opposite, if the liquid is hot and pot is cold, so it's not going to, I mean, it's unlikely that it's going to absorb the taste. So one more time. If cold dairy pot is placed in a hot chicken soup that spilled over onto the cold countertop, so maybe just simplify, even the pot may be unaffected. So meaning even the pot you need to kosher because it was cold. Okay. A Rav should be consulted. The food in a pot is certainly not affected. Why? Because it was cold and it's very unlikely that it absorbs any taste. Okay. So part number 2. A spill into hot surface. If liquid spilled into hot surface over or near the source of the heat, for example, Shabbos blech over the fire, the problem is more serious. For example, if cold milk spilled on a blech and flows under the cholent, under the cholent pot, that is over or near the flame, the case is comparable to a hot pot placed on over the hot liquid. The cholent must be discarded unless it contains 60 times of the volume of the milk. The pot must be koshered in any case, and the blech must not be used again unless it is koshered. Okay, so let's do it again. So we're almost done with this chapter. So it's very, very technical. Baruch Hashem. Okay. So part number 2 again, the spill onto the hot surface. So the hot surface is the best would be as a blech, as he said. Other surfaces, for example, if you use this Splatter, this hot plate, it does not get so hot. I don't think so. I mean, actually, it can. I mean, on all of them, it's not for cooking. Even though you have like a adjusting thing, like a regulator, it says it's not for cooking. Just cooking, keeping something warm. Okay. So one more time. If the liquid spilled on the hot surface, so I think black is the best example. Hot surface over or near the source of heat. So black, for those who do not know, it's like a sheet of metal that we put on Shabbos. So to cover the gas burner. Let's say if it's gas burner, big gas stove. So usually you leave only one burning. So you put this sheet of metal, right? And then you arrange your pots wherever you need to warm up on Shabbos. It's not so simple, but I'm just simplifying the example. Let's say you're allowed, whatever you're allowed to put on this blech on Shabbos. But this blech is very hot. Why is it hot? Because it's been on a fire for a very long time. And even if it's a tiny fire, it's very, very hot. Very, very hot. Okay. So usually people don't leave more than one burner, because it would be too hot in the house. It's like a waste of gas and something. Okay, so now they spill. So this is we have this blech, this sheet of metal that covers completely the stove, and on top of this this blech, they have a cholent, right? That they cook for Shabbos. Okay, so continue. If the liquid spilled into hot surface over or near the source of heat, so anywhere on this blech, for example, Shabbos blech over the fire, the problem is more serious, right? Of course, because the surface is hot, the pot is hot, and maybe the liquid is also hot. For example, if cold milk spilled onto the blech, okay, cold milk, that flows under the cholent, right now, okay, under the cholent, meaning meat, cholent pot, and that is over the near of the fire, but cholent usually don't put it on like not near the fire. It's whether right on top of the fire or right next to it. So that's for sure it is in this area. Just one second. So one more time. For example, cold milk spilled on a blech and flows under the cholent pot that is over or near the flame. The case is comparable to what we said before. To a hot pot placed over the hot liquid. So even even the liquid, as we started, the milk is cold, but it's going to get warm very, very fast because of the surface, right? The cholent must be discarded unless they contain 60 times the value of the milk. So I'm not sure how much milk. You see, like this sheet of metal, it's flat and it's not straight. Usually it's crooked after you use it for a while, right? So it's not going to keep this 60 big amount of milk, for sure not. I'm not sure. I mean, whatever he said, if he would give like more practical example, how is it possible? More than 1 to 60. I don't know. Like in my mind, milk would be never more than 1/60. Okay. The cholent must be discarded unless it contains 60 times volume of the milk. So okay. The pot must be kosher in any case. That's a given, right? Because it was in contact with the hot food of opposite type, for sure. So it got absorbed. Okay. And the blech must not be used again until it is kosher. So I hope he's going to tell us how to kosher the blech, because it's not so simple. The blech, the only way to kosher is with a torch. Right, it's not so simple. So let's see. Okay, so now we're going to section. It's like section 1 before last. The status of the blech. Incidentally, since the food often spills on the blech, every blech should be considered a meat utensil. Okay, the blech may contain food residue, and certainly absorb meat taste from the spills. Okay, that's for sure. So you have a blech, most likely something is spilled. So you see people's blech, like our blech also have spots, right? Something spilled like over the years, guaranteed, right? So he's saying that we can assume that this blech is absorb the meat taste. Okay. Therefore, one should never place dairy utensils on a hot blech. Okay, on a cold there is no problem, right? But on a hot blech, never cold dairy utensils. Since the hot meat and dairy utensils should not touch each other. Okay. One should not warm dairy pots on a blech in preparation for dairy meal or Shabbos. So that's a very big deal. So on Shavuos, we have a custom to eat dairy foods. So in our family, we try to do it simple, like don't go crazy and eat just a few dairy dishes, and that's it. That's make it simple, right? So never we eat hot foods, because as one of the reasons is this, exactly how we're going to warm it up. It's too much headache, right? So anyway, the blech is a surface, right? And it's meat surface, right? They become after a few splatters, right? So now don't warm this dairy food on the same blech. However, one may spread a double sheet aluminum foil over the area of the blech and place the dairy pot on the foil. Okay, so it's like blech on top of the blech. Okay, so they cover this with aluminum foil. Okay, similarly, any part of food that is to be eaten with dairy should not be warmed up directly on the blech. So it's very interesting advice also. So even you have part food, and it is a part food 100%. So they say don't warm up these foods on the blech, right? Directly on the blech if you're going to eat it with dairy foods. Okay, which is makes sense, because as we said, this taste from blech is going to be absorbed in the pots. Okay. Just 1 second. Similarly, any part of food, one more time, that is to be eaten with dairy should not be warmed directly on a blech. Okay. A part of utensil, for example, kettle, may be placed on any clean, dry area on the blech. Okay, no problem. The readers certainly noticed that the issue of this chapter were not explained with the same practical thoughtfulness as the other chapters. This is because of the complex nature of the halachic issues that are involved and the fact that the question of this type should always present it to Rav. Okay, so if you have access to one. Okay. So let me check quickly time, 1 second. So we finished that book. That it's like chapters, but the books is also divided into books. So I guess we can stop here. So book number 3. I'm just going to see what is it about. So keeping kosher kitchen, right? Avoiding problems while cooking. Okay, so to be continued. Any questions on any topic?
Here I have.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. So, what is it more important to have 2 kitchen rooms to avoid Hametz on Pesach or to avoid meat and dairy? I mean, which is rabbinical, which one is Torah law?
No, both of them are Torah laws. No, what's that? Those are 2 separate issues. So just because you have, for example, 2 kitchen, it's only tells us that you have to kosher 2 kitchen. None of them can be used for Pesach. So some people that I know, if people can afford, if they just bought a house or if they bought it from a Jew, that's why Jews like to buy from Jews. Because the previous family already invested a lot, right? Of course, they cannot charge the same money when they sell the house. Well, why is that? Because non-Jews, they do not understand. Why do you need 2 kitchens? Like a stove here, and 7 feet, 10 feet away you have another stove. What are you, crazy? What do you have nothing else to do in your life? 2 refrigerators? They would say, what a waste of time. Well, what a waste of space. You understand? But Jew that understand, he said, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. That's makes my life very easy. You understand? So it's a very interesting market. Of course, they cannot charge much more because they rebuild the kitchen. Because the pool of the customer they can sell this house is much less. You understand? But all of the Jews would, of course, appreciate. And some people, okay, of course, who can afford, they do somewhere in a basement, they do Pesach kitchen. But I don't find even though I heard several times, or more than several times, that's what people do, to be very strict on Pesach. But is it very practical? I'm not sure how practical it is. I never talk to these people. I just know that they do have this separate Pesach kitchen, but I'm not sure how practical it is. And I'm not sure if it's possible, unless you lock it and you lock your kids somewhere, I don't know, upstairs and never let them go to the basement. For sure they go bring cookies and everything to this basement, and you would need to kosher this kitchen and as any other kitchen. Of course, it's not, if it would only maybe not kosher, maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe just wash it from this chametz, because for sure chametz was only, kids would bring only like dry food or something, like cold food for sure. So it makes the koshering process much easier, right? But 2 separate prohibitions, both of them are biblical: chametz on Pesach and meat and dairy combinations. Okay.
So most of the time, the Orthodox Jews use 2 kitchen for one for meat and dairy, and the other is for.
If they can afford, if they live in a city and they live in an apartment, not in their own house, and it's a rented apartment, they have no choice. They would go with 1 kitchen, with 1 refrigerator, with 1 everything. The easiest thing in my mind, and that's what we help other people to do, to get a double sink. So for double sink, you don't need much, and you don't even have to ask this landlord, or even you can ask. I've actually asked the landlord, right? So you just if it's formica, the wood, there is no problem. We have jigsaw. I did it a few times, more than a few times in my life. So if it's a granite, it's a little harder, but still there is not such a big deal. You just make the hole bigger, and you put drop in this double sink, and that's it. That's the easiest thing to do. So and it resolved many issues. I used to know someone, and very nice people, and they bought this condominium, right? And they have only one sink, big and one sink. So I told them a few times, let's expand. I mean, I can do it for free, right? Of course they say no. I'm not sure why I say, and of course they said no, and they were struggling with washing all the dishes in one sink. It is such a disaster. Three kids, I don't know. It was I'm not sure how they managed and how many times they actually did the opposite, and the kids who want to help, or kids usually don't pay attention. So I'm not sure how it passed. And people not very much organized. So, but they insisted that they would go with one sink. So I mean, we have to know our deficiencies, our problems. So why would you risk this? You understand? Especially as we said in a previous class, if you open the hot tap water, so for sure it's hotter than Yetzer Hara's bowl. So if you have in one sink, you have milk and meat utensils, so you're out. So that for sure it will transfer of the taste. They say, as we said last time, even if some of them was almost clean, let's say. So that's the problem. So we try to minimize this possibility of mixture meat and milk as much as we can. So one of the advice, as he said, just from this, how many scenarios this Rabbi, what is his name, Rabbi Binyamin Frost, right? How many scenarios he gave us, on one. On one scenario, when you have meat and dairy pots at the same time, or a spill from one to another, how many issues. So try and never do it again, never. So you finish with dairy, take it out, put it somewhere on a side or different side of the countertop, and start cooking meat. But you have to be organized. So you cannot be not organized. Otherwise, for sure, he's going to sin. How often? Always. That's the problem. Right?
Another question is, are you allowed to make Birkat Amazon on Shabbos if the food you made was not fully cooked because of not tasting this food before Shabbos?
Mm-hmm. So okay, but the bread was okay, right? The bread.
I mean, it wasn't it was not tasty. It was not really cooked like beans or
No, but bread. You Birchas Hamazon, you said for bread.
Yeah, there was
okay.
bread.
Okay, so
but the food was not.
Okay, if bread was okay, so the Birchas Hamazon, we have to acknowledge that we say it for bread only, but the bread meal includes all of the others are extra, all the extra. So if they're not as tasty, what can you do? Even partially cooked, what can we do? If you're saying in your mind you're thanking HaShem for bread, so that's the most important part. And the issue was just since he has our friend asked this question. So the issue is with if it's not bread meal, whether or not you would say the blessing to begin with before eating this food. If you know that it's not ready, it's not cooked. So in some cases you would not say any blessing, because no normal person would eat it just because out of necessity. But second comment on that situation, we have special mitzvah, it's separate mitzvah, before Shabbos actually to taste all of the dishes. So everybody, it says everybody in the family is obligated to taste the dishes, because when Shabbos starts it's too late. So you cannot cook, it was too salty, it was undersalted, this and that, so don't blame anybody. So it was your responsibility to taste all of the dishes. Okay, what else?
Because I thought that I was trying to avoid tasting before Shabbos the food.
No, it's essentially opposite. It's a mitzvah to taste from every food before Shabbos. Opposite. So it's for Shalom Bayis issues, but because it's honor of Shabbos. How you honor of Shabbos? You prepare better food than during the week. So right, so you must taste it. You cannot calculate. At least I would not be able to calculate how much salt to put, how much pepper to put, other spices. There is for me there is no way even approximately. So I would put more. Mix it, taste it, put more, right? And only by this I would know. So without tasting, there is no way. Okay.
Finally, about this also, are you allowed to improve the cooking condition of this food, which has beans, by adding hot water from the water urn?
No, one second. If the food is not completely cooked, you're not allowed to do anything to this food. You're not allowed to continue cooking, even warm up. You're not allowed. So if you have no choice and you got stuck with that's the only food you have. So you must eat this food as not cooked. That's it. So we're not allowed to continue cooking on Shabbos.
And what about water which is not hot, just because it was very dry, the food?
I didn't get about water. Okay, say it again.
Because yes, adding water because it was
very dry. Okay.
Yeah.
So in some scenarios, as we said, you can only add hot water. So cold water, absolutely not, because it's going to cook. It's forbidden. Raw water from the tap, right? But if if it's hot water from the water urn or from a kettle that's in the black, yeah, you can add. There is no problem, because the cholent is cooked. So yeah, if meat is cooked, water is cooked, and you just add together, there is no problem.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, what else? Anybody else? Questions? Okay.
Shalom, Dr.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Thank you, Rabbi. It's an hypothetical situation.
Mm-hmm.
If we have, for example, a Tupperware in the same size of the sink.
One second, step back. You have what? The same size of the sink? What?
Tupperware.
What?
Tupperware, a plastic container.
Okay. So it's like to put in on the bottom of the sink?
Exactly.
Okay.
And we make a hole in it.
Okay.
And instead of use the sink directly, we wash the dishes in the Tupperware, in the plastic.
Okay.
One for meal and another one for milk. For meat and another one for milk. Would be that possible? Would be that a kosher situation? Would be that possible?
Okay, that's what people do, but let's leave this question aside. I'm not sure how exactly it works, because in my mind, so it's not possible not to splatter to all of the walls. So unless these people, people that I knew, that they would never put anything on the bottom of the sink. Well, whatever they wash, they would like hold it in their hands and wash. So which is very inconvenient. But the question is asked. So I'm not 100% sure that's why I hesitate to answer. So, but let's for everybody, let's understand the situation. So there is a special like piece of plastic, and they sell it not to like not to damage the dishes. Some people have these delicate dishes, so if you put it on this on a metal surface, right, in a sink, it can like chip or something. So when you put like this rubber thing or the plastic, so it protects the dishes. So the question is if we can use these things to wash milk with the milk plastic, right? To put milk in this insert, and then change it and to put meat plastic. So I'm not sure. Let's leave it aside, but we're going to get an answer. Beezrat HaShem. It's very interesting thing. Yes. It's not simple. It's not simple. Okay. What else? Okay, so we go directly to Daniel. Go ahead, Daniel.
Thank you, Rabbi. So in regards to today's topic, I was thinking about the thickness of the walls of the pots. I remember my grandma used to have this very, very thick, heavy stainless steel pots.
Mm-hmm.
So how does the thickness of the walls of the pots play like a role within this whole issue of accidental splattering? Because like in my mind, I cannot see like a microscopic like droplet of liquid making it all the way through the thick walls of a very, very, very thick, heavy duty, sturdy pot. So how does it play a role within this whole issue?
So in my mind, even so you give extreme example, yeah, it's understandable. But even today, like even thinner pot, even like much thinner walls, but they have this coating, this protective coating that can withstand 1,000 degrees on Fahrenheit inside of the oven. Or maybe I exaggerate, like 750, 500, let's say, right? So how if they so sturdy, how this milk that is not so hot can travel through? I guess it's my understanding. It's a rabbinical decree. So in order to build for us fences, of course it's not going to penetrate. I mean, we're normal people, right? It's not going to penetrate. So if it's going to penetrate, it's going to leak. This pot is going to leak. It never leaks. You understand? So from inside, yes, we understand how it can absorb into the wall, but from outside, so it's a rabbinic decree. So they say they try to put fences for us not to have these pots next to each other. Why? Because the next thing that inevitably what happened, it's going to splatter from one pot into another, and people who are not very God-fearing, they would say, okay, maybe it's 1 to 60. I don't remember what is it, but it was accident. Maybe there is a leniency, and I heard today there is but there is another rabbi. So I say, if it's there is another. So why talking to me? Talk to this another rabbi. You want a clowns? You can go with the clowns, right? But you want a halacha. He's the halacha. I check whatever they. I'm not going to repeat, but whatever they ask me, I check the leniency. Of course, I cannot go to all of the leniency. Maybe somebody said otherwise, but the main commentators said there's only one solution to whatever this person asked. But if there is a clown, there is a clown, of course. Or maybe somebody lenient in certain situation, maybe, right? So that's why I think that's my explanation. It is rabbinical, of course. Practically, it's not going to travel, but to put the separation, because if it's going to splatter into the pot from one to another, for sure it is biblical. That's for sure, it's biblical. Understand? So that's why they say even from outside of the pot it is a problem. So you can understand that. So if it's inside, it's even greater problem. So that's my understanding. Okay. Go ahead. So it's less than 1 to 60. It should not avoid even. Of course, I mean we're trying to be practical. We're trying to be practical, meaning to begin with we should not do it. But after the fact, So if it happened, even this amount of milk went into the pot, it's after the fact there is no problem. So needless to say, on the splatter on the side, but trying to be careful. If the rabbi said no, so we understand no, unless of course people in this case they do not have too many choices. They must cook meat and dairy at the same time. Okay, go ahead. What else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Well, this is like in my personal case, but okay, so I gotta make sure about something before I ask the actual question. Are we allowed to cook fish in the dairy pots, dairy pans?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you say allowed, so Sephardim I think would not do it, but Ashkenazim would do it.
Okay, that would be a problem because I'm following the Ashkenazi minhag. But let's say
No, Ashkenazi would do it. I mean, there is no problem. Ashkenazi would eat meat, fish with dairy. There is no problem. Sephardim would not eat fish with dairy. So in this case, Ashkenazi custom is more lenient, I guess. I'm not sure if lenient or they're stringent. I'm not sure, but that's the difference. Okay.
So let's say how mandatory it is to eat meat during Shabbos. Like, can a person like just celebrate Shabbos just with fish, for example?
Okay, so if a person does not like meat, and we have this lady, right, the one that used to come to our house like a long time ago, and she was getting closer. She was on vegetarian side for wrong reasons, but then she started to eat a little chicken. Then she like, and she was not married at the time, and then we told her like this vegetarian, since you start vegetarian for a wrong reason because you're trying to be too merciful to the animals, so now you have to do Teshuvah, and Teshuvah is to davka eat meat on Shabbos. So, but some people they have this medical condition. They cannot eat meat. They cannot tolerate meat. So for them, of course, there is no obligation. So the only requirement to eat meat, because person enjoys meat, and it's like especially in olden days. In olden days, it's like most of the people, if they would eat meat, it's only on Shabbos or holiday. That's it. That's how people knew that it's holiday. It is holiday or Shabbos because they eat meat. Otherwise, they don't eat meat. Today, many people, I heard the report some time ago, like they eat like many people eat 2 meals a day with meat, which is crazy. So people, for sure, every day most of the people eat meat at least once a day. That's not normal. It's a lot compared to the olden days. You understand? So, but if a person does not like meat, he not afford it. So there is no, for example, right? There is no meat available. So okay, so you're not obligated then. So the only obligation is why, for example, is the holiday is coming, and it says our sages knew the psyche of the person. And they say, what is the bring joy to a man? Meat and wine, right? Meat and wine. So men are very simple. Women are more sophisticated. They need dresses. They need some decoration. They need flowers. Men are very simple. Give them a little wine, a little meat, and steak. That's it. He is on seventh heaven. That's it. Right. So that's to bring person into the spirit of joy. That's what man needs. Okay, some spiritual, of course, you learn Torah, but also physical. You drink a little, eat meat. Okay, what else?
Rabbi. No, because I was thinking. I mean, in my personal case, I don't eat like much meat. Like I don't love it.
Mm-hmm.
I only eat meat when I get like food delivered home from the kosher deli. Like I will get like, I don't know, perhaps like a hamburger. Neither I eat like chicken either. Like there's many reasons to it, but the main one is that I don't know. quite sure how is the meat that you can buy here raw. So, and the second reason is because I don't love it. So I eat like mainly fish. What I eat like every day is like fish, mostly salmon, and of course kosher fish. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, if I was Ashkenazim and I would not eat like much meat, and the times that I would eat meat, it would be just straight from the box, from the delivery. So, hypothetically speaking, if I would just cook dairy and fish at home, would I be allowed to only have like one type of kitchenware for everything, like
Yes.
no separation or nothing?
Yes. That's it.
Because in my mind, that sounds a little, I don't know, a little bit like mediocre, but like given the scenario, like the person doesn't eat much meat, and yeah, that was kind of my doubt.
We had a friend many years ago. So he was not into Halachah too much, right? But he was into spirituality. Whatever it means, spirituality, right? So he said, I don't care about this meat part. So I'm going to have, as you said, dairy kitchen in Parev kitchen. I'm not sure. I think he did not eat dairy. Maybe yes, maybe I don't want to say. I don't remember. He had Parev kitchen, and he lived in a private house. So he had a little backyard. And he had grill, so he said, if I want to eat meat, so I'm going to eat with a plastic forks, spoons, and with paper plates, and that's it. So on a grill, that's it. But from the store, marinade, no marinade, just put it on a grill, put some barbecue sauce, and that's it. Okay, that's what he was doing to simplify. Okay, so he was a single guy. That's whatever you want. So if a person does not violate the halacha, that's the main point. But it should be, so this like stringency should not be in expense of enjoyment. So if a person enjoy but he does not want to learn halacha, so like I know, and this guy was very stubborn. Unfortunately, he did not want to learn the laws of the blessing. So I say shechako. I say, but it's not proper blessing to say. It's too complicated. So I would say shechako, and that's it. He was very stubborn, Baruch Hashem, but he had many self-help books and how to be spiritual. Okay, that's only part of Judaism, to be spiritual, but you have to be practical. You have to lead life. It's not only dancing on a street. So he always went to Uman for Rosh Hashanah, and we have several clips are coming. What do you think about going to Uman for Rosh Hashanah? Forget about the war part. There is a bigger issue than that. Okay. So what else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Yes, Kabbalah mentioned something like vital, like critical within this whole issue is that sometimes when the guy is single, it's really hard to keep the kashrut homage 100%. Help of a wife is very, very important in this thing. So I was, thinking about this. Like, it would be kind of helpful. For example, in my case, if I would do that, because I don't have a wife, and sometimes I got to do things, and I got to work. So it will be kind of practical, at least for me. Not with intent of avoiding the loss of kashrut or the blessings or anything like that, but I think it depends on the person, right?
So I would say, so even we suggested to this friend of mine, unfortunately he passed away very, very young, unfortunately, right? So we suggested just get yourself like electric stove, like tiny, on a countertop, and you can warm up all of the meat and eat it from use this aluminum container, this disposable, and that's it. So you don't have to go crazy, go outside. Of course, because of this going outside, he was limited himself. I mean, in the middle of the winter, in the middle of the rain, you're not going to go outside and try to make a fire. So, but some people wanted things their way. But it should not be like, if you don't feel that you you missing out something, there is no problem. So pizza, of course, he would buy pizza, for example. Pizza comes in a box. They would eat like from paper plate, throw the paper plates, and that's it. So kitchen is still kosher. There is no problem. So paper plates, this disposable, what was it? The forks and knives actually works very well. Especially when person is single, have like you buy pack, you're going to use it for a year. 6 months, so it's very pays off. Okay, what else? Any other questions?
Yeah, I have more questions, but should I make more questions?
Yes, go ahead. And then before I forget, I want to tell this story, you guys. Go ahead. Fresh story from today. I mean, the story happened many years ago, and I heard it maybe 20 times, but today I heard it 21st time, so I need to say it over. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Rabbi. So, if a person is in the process of growing spiritually, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, he stops studying, cold turkey, or slow the whole thing down, and we know that the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Hara are supposed to grow both at the same time, at the same pace, for it to be like a fair battle. But what happens if the person stops studying? Because of course his Yetzer Hara is gonna not grow anymore, but what happens with his Yetzer Hara? Is it gonna keep growing, or is it gonna stay the same, or is it gonna
it's going to keep growing. It's going to keep growing because when person stops studying, he start forgetting. So when we study, we go over the same material. As I told you guys, there are some topics that I went over 6 times with all of the commentaries, with all of the details, and every time I went exactly the same topic. I don't know, maybe 100 pages, 120 pages. Not huge topic. So every time I discovered what I missed last time and what I forgot from last time. So meaning, if now I'm going to go to this topic and I'm going to study it 7 times, I'm going to see many things new. Because why? Because I forget, and most of the people forget things. You understand? If you don't forget, you're a very special person. So everyday person forgets more. So he cannot say, just because I did not study, I did not grow. No, opposite. A person goes back. You understand? It's like you go in on an escalator that goes down. So in order in order to get to the top, you have to walk much faster than the escalator. Otherwise, if you stop, you're going to go down all the way. You understand? So Yetzer Hara gets stronger, and it happens to the best of us, and it happened to many of my students, that went down in a spiritual level, right? So stop studying, then start. But the solution is very simple. Solution is very simple. What? To get your study partner. So if you study with somebody, so you say, okay, it's 7 p.m., it's 3 p.m., we're at 9 a.m., in the morning, 6:30, whatever time is. So I have to call this guy, right? And we're going to study together. That's it. So if you're alone, okay, maybe I had my stomach ache, headache, this ache, that ache. I have to call my mother. I have to deliver this package, that package. But no. I have a call at 6:30 p.m. That's it. So life stops, everything stops, everything is on the side, and I'm going to have this call. So that's why in Judaism, unless you're a gadol hador or like a special occasion, of course you must study yourself also, but it should be like minimum, unless you're very, very organized person. So, but you're very, very strong-willed person, right? So otherwise we study in groups, for sure. In groups, with chavrusa. So if one chavrusa is not enough, so you get another one, and third one. I have several study partners, many, Baruch HaShem. So some of them cannot. That's all they can handle is I don't know, like short class. But for me, it's not enough. So it's obligation upon me. Now, the problem is not with them. The problem is me. So I have to find somebody else who wants to study. And there are always many people who wants to study. So and that way you push each other. Okay. What else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
another question is, but there's this saying, I don't know if it's a saying, but I think it's like Torah based, that it says that Am Israel has no Mazel. Am Israel is above the Mazel.
Mm-hmm.
So how come, if Am Israel is above the Mazel, how come there's still like poor, like struggling Jews? Like if they're above the Mazel, cannot all of them like become rich through a lot of prayer? Like, are they above the Mazel, but just to a certain extent?
Okay, that's a good question. I'll say a minute on this. So what does it mean that Jews above the Mazel? So one of the explanation, what are the meaning of the word Mazel? It's actually constellations. It's signs of the zodiac, right? So every nation, there are 70 nations in the world, and every nation is controlled by some star or constellation of the stars. And above, and this star or constellation of the stars are controlled with this angel. There is assigned to that nation. You understand? And 71st nation is actually Am Israel. So, and we don't have constellation because we governed by HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. You understand? So Mazel meaning what? So these people, these stargazers or whatever they say from olden days, so they were able to look at the stars and see what Mazel, what is going to happen in the future. Was it accurate? So they many times they did not have details, exact details, but many things were accurate. So today we don't have such a knowledge, and even in other nations of the world, but in the olden days, for sure. Like you see the story with Pharaoh. So he said that you're going to die through the. So I mean, in a desert. So it's going to be a lot of blood, right? So and he was true, right? So he was right. He was right that in the desert it's going to be a lot of blood. But what blood was it? I also just explain. Before we crossed to the Jordan River, when Moshe Rabbeinu died, we said the Teshuvah and everything, right? Before Yehoshua ben Nun took us to the other side of the Jordan, we had to do the circumcision because all of the 40 years, most of the people, I think Leib did, but all other people did not do circumcision because it was dangerous, this and that, or whatever reason was, right? So they must do the circumcision. So it was a lot of blood on that day. Right? If from baby you have a lot of blood, so for adults for sure you have a lot of blood. So did he see blood? Yes, he saw blood, but he did not see details. And same another example, this wife of Potiphar, right? So she said she saw in the stars. She was a very smart lady. So she saw in the stars that Joseph that from her. And Yosef is going to be righteous children, and whatever she did, it was for the sake of heaven, right? In some sense, right? But the truth is, she did not see all of the details. It was from her adopted daughter that and Yosef, right, from this union, they're going to be children. So some things they see where in the stars. So when they say Mazel, that's what they mean. That everything is written in the stars, right? But for Jewish people, there is not such a thing as Mazel. Why? Because we can overwrite our Mazel, right? So like our destiny, we can always overwrite whatever was destined before. You change yourself, you work on yourself, and now you're a different person. So before you were Yitzchak, not such a good guy, right? Promiscuous person. Now you change. I hope there is no Yitzchak here. So now you change and you became a tzaddik. You understand? So this tzaddik, now he deserved a different wife. So before that he deserved to marry, I don't know, maybe doorknob, right? That's all. But now he deserved a big tzaddik, right? So that's why we don't depend on the Mazel, because it means nothing to us. And same is Teshuvah. It's very interesting. So I learned today actually Very interesting. From Rabbi Gladstein, Shlita, very big rabbi, very young person, but he's so productive in this teaching. It's unbelievable. I actually learned from him like for many years ago. He produced like every day he would produce 3 videos, like so deep on this different ideas. I had no idea. I asked him, Rabbi, how's it possible? He laughs. He did not answer. He comes from a big lineage, very important lineage of big rabbanim, right? Very interesting, right? So he taught us today, very interesting. We actually, in one of the class, we started learning his book, preparation for. It's actually on Sukkot, but I think he started from Rosh Hashanah. So he explained there the secret of Teshuvah. So only actually I did not know this part. You see, I did not know that only Jews have this privilege to do Teshuvah. That's a special gift to the Jewish people, not to the whole world. So meaning what? When a Jew does Teshuvah, the whole record is erased. So if non-Jew does Teshuvah, nothing is erased. Okay, he's forgiven for now, but the record is still there. What is going to be done with that record, I do not know, but only for. Okay, so that's the thing. That's why a Jew is above Mazel. Okay, so it's our destiny. In one of these videos about whether to go to Umani or not. So we're going to say that if you want to be such a holy person, if you want a good judgment on Rosh Hashanah, so work on yourself, change yourself, right? You have 2 promises. So I'm not trying to insult, but like logically, just think logically for a second. You have a promise from a rabbi who lived 250 years ago. Maybe that's what he promised. Maybe yes, maybe not. Okay, so he's going to help you. Maybe not, yes, maybe not. He's called tzaddik. And you have right, because not is everything is up to him. And then you have in Chumash. Right, Moshe Rabbeinu wrote from the words of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that if you're going to follow my commandments, you're going to get all of the blessing in this world and in the next world. Guarantee, signed by HaShem. So why would you go by somebody else, somebody else's opinion, maybe misinterpreted? If HaShem tells you, and he's a true judge and he signed, he stamp his emes, whatever he says, he's going to deliver. And if you try to purify yourself, it says clearly, if person try to purify himself from Shemaim, he's going to purify me even more. So why would you people trying to use this Mazel, put this Mazel, that Mazel? So for me, it's I have allergy on this Mazel stuff. Okay, of course it's holy practices, but just be holy and that's it. So I'm sure Rav Eliashiv did not do this. All of this. Rav Avadia Yosef Zatzal did not do all of this Mazel. How did they do? They learn Torah, be holy, and that's it. So serve HaShem. The best Mazel, guaranteed, signed by HaShem. Why would you go to different world to this dancing with guys and okay, that's the thing. Okay, go ahead. What else?
This is incredible. I watched it, just mind blowing. I was just gonna stop there, but a new question gonna arouse based on what Kabbalah just said. Would this be the fact that non-Jews cannot do Teshuvah the same way that Jews do? Would this be the explanation of why people going through conversion have to face a lot of problems throughout the process? Because perhaps the Yetzer Hara knows that the person is gonna start from blank, from zero, and they want to make him pay for what he did.
It's maybe, everything is possible. It may maybe one of the reasons, but in my mind, so the example that I always give people, right? So if you want to go get a good position in your job, you have to pass some kind of certification, some kind of exam, so to get uplifted. So it should not be easy. So if you want to get a better job, better pay, in this world, of course, I'm just not to compare, but for us, practical example for us to understand. So you have to exhort yourself, and see, and many people. So I'm telling you on a different channel, we have a lot of material for no hides, right, and some No Heights contacted me and trying to help, trying to accommodate my personal shiurim, Rabbi Reuven shiurim, right? And people ask about conversion. So and I compile the things. So a person need to know in order to make decision. Forget about conversion. Forget about kosher kitchen. Forget about what we learn in this class. All that's too much. That's too much. Simple, like basic level of what is expected, right? What is expected of a person if he wants to convert. And guess what? 98% just drop cold, so that they never contact me again. I guess, of course, I send a lot of material, and I told them that they have to watch twice and take notes. But after they see what Judaism really is, they're not interested. So they were in love with stories of tzaddikim. I don't know, Rabbi Akiva and Rachel, and I also like this story, but and it's very inspiring story. But you have to work on it. Like Rabbi Akiva did not become Rabbi Akiva just watching 1 minute clips. You understand? So he dedicated his life, and same as Rachel. She was ready to sacrifice her life. Literally, no, not figuratively, to have this Rabbi Akiva and to be this holy woman. So it's does not happen overnight. So, but when people see what we have to say, so as I said, 98% back off. Baruch HaShem. I mean, good for them, because they not do like there is one conversion session, whatever, from that Beis Din, like I'm not going to say where they spawn like they say if you wanna to sign up, so you have to go through this rabbi. He's going to do interview, and it's like and this rabbi, he charged money for everything. So you breathe in, he charge, he breathes out, you charge. So and I had a few couples of students. And I told them, if you learn whatever we said in our classes, and those classes we cover like most of the Shabbos book, not everything, okay, but I would say like more than half. But this more than half is enough to pass any exam of whatever they're going to ask, and plus Hashkafa series, whatever they're going to pass. But these people, they want to make money. Right, and they say, okay, whatever you knew is very good, but you have to take our classes. You understand? So basically, if a person has money and he takes these classes, he can pass any. I mean, that they're going to accept by because he paid all of this money. Most likely, if he's not completely stupid. So that's unfortunately also like easy way to get in. If you have money, that's the issue. But Baruch Hashem, all of the other students, they're very poor, they cannot afford anything, so they have to go through the harder route, and that's the thing. So it's hard, but you want to be a king, you want to be a queen, to be called the daughter of HaShem or son of HaShem, just like that. It's not going to work like that. And it says. Why this Teshuvah is working only for Jews, and for non-Jews it does not work? Why is it discrimination? There is no discrimination. Actually, when I heard this, it's actually, I just remember we learned it today. So it says that HaShem is a strict judge, right? Fair judge, but He is our Father, and Father has a right to forgive. So if you insult your father, whatever you did, you said to him, you upset him, so he has the right to forgive. King has no right to forgive, because it's if somebody insulted the king, he has to put a person to death, right? Even without trial. So if somebody is a rebel, so they're going to take all of the possessions from him. That's why Doeg had the me. He knew that David is coming back, and he went with his son Avshalom. He went back and committed suicide. Why? Because if he would be executed by David, all of his estates would go to the crown, to the David's family, and his family would be broke, and he was a rich person. So, but if he committed suicide, no problem. So his children can inherit his money. Very practical person. You understand? So, and since non-Jews and they're not children of HaShem, though they say so, right? They are his servants. So we are servants. Also, we are servants, but we are servants and then children. So that's the difference. So he is allowed, according to his Torah, he put himself in this limitation. The HaShem has to rule this world according to the Torah. So according to the Torah, he is allowed to forgive us, right? And according to his Torah, he's not allowed to forgive non-Jews completely. That's the thing. So there is a Teshuvah for them, but it's not so simple. So it was a very novel idea for me, but this that's what it is.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. That was mind-blowing.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave the rest of my questions for next week. I would love to hear the story that comes about.
So here's the story. It's very raw. So I didn't work on this story. So usually, in my mind, I work on it. But here's a story. You probably heard it, but I'm going to tell it with my own spin. So it was in the story happened in Israel. True story. And it was one guy, a car thief. Okay. That's what the guy that does for a living. He steals car, probably like sell them to the dealer shop, to the shops for like parts or something. Okay, makes good money out of it. Okay, so one time he found the car that he got the order for. Right, so he said, "Oh, beautiful." So he opens the car. He's professional. Starts the car. Look at the rear side mirror. Whom he sees on the back seat, a child, a little boy, is suffocating from the heat. So parents forgot the child inside of the car. So he realized what happened. Of course, he's a Jew. The boy is a Jew. So he starts rushing. He's driving like crazy to the hospital. And he gets to the hospital. So the baby almost died because of the heat. And he cried a lot, right? So out of the strength, and he was like in the waiting room. A few hours they tried to bring this boy back to life. Actually, they were successful. This baby, tiny baby, and he said, "Okay, father, you're lucky, father. If you would come here 1 minute later, so the boy would be dead." Okay, so come, and the nurse is going to give you instruction what to do at home. And the guy is shocked. He was praying, whatever. He's not religious, right? And he said, actually, I'm not the father. I'm just got into the car. I saw the baby. But I can call the father. Give me the time. I go say, okay, go. So he went back to the car, to the parking lot, right? So he opens the glove compartment, and some people keep their documents there. Me, never. I never keep anything in there. Personal, right? But there were the documents, and he checked the documents. There was phone number, so he called these parents and said, "Mr. So and so, actually, I'm with your son in the hospital." So they were so shocked that they were crying from happiness that they did not what happened and this and that. They thought that it's over, so they rushed to the hospital, and they were so thankful. And how do you save it? And he said, "No, I'm just was walking by, I saw the baby in the car, and I actually was from this guy. There is a Haverim. There is a Haverim group in where I live also, Jews that Haverim, it's like friends, right? So they volunteers. People know how to start the car. People know how to change the tires. People know how to change the windows, put the door back on the hinges, do your lock, whatever, some simple things like favors to other Jews. And they're like tremendous organizations like that, right? So somebody locked themselves out of the car, of this, or that, so they would come and help you for free. So he said, he was aware of it. So he said that part of Haverim, so they did not pay attention. So they were thanking him, you saved our boy, you're such a hero. And they could not thank him enough. And they say, just name us the price, whatever you want, we're going to pay you. I said, no, what are you talking about? I'm a Jew. It was an honor for me to save the Jewish life, and that's it. He said, yes, no, and then they say, okay, we accept you, no, but one condition, you have to come to us for Shabbos. Okay, so okay. Next Friday, so he arrives in it's Bnei Brak, the most one of the most religious neighborhood in the world. So Bnei Brak and Yasharim and Borough Park here, and okay, he said, but you know that I'm Jew, but I'm not religious. They said, don't worry about it. And they took him into shul, this and that. And Friday night, they had a meal in their house to celebration. Meal to to thank HaShem for the great miracle that he did, and many people came. The whole community heard this story. They came, they hugged him, they kissed him, they shook his hand. You're such a hero. You saved Jewish life. You saved the Jewish nation, and may you blessed with this. Maybe you blessed with that. And the guy, he does not know what to do with himself. Next day, right, the whole night till the very late, the guests were coming until the next day. He goes to the shul, they pray, they come home. Again, people come, people thank him, and he feels so uncomfortable. Of course, he never said why he was in a car. In everybody's mind, he's a big hero who saved this life. And doctor said if you would bring this baby 1 minute later, he's out. That's it. No more baby, unfortunately. Right? And after Shabbos, he said, okay, I have to go home. Thank you very much, but that's a little overwhelming. I need to go home. They say, no, you're not going anywhere. So after Motzei Shabbos, you have to go meet the Rabbi. So the Rabbi, big holy Rabbi, wants to talk to you, right? Because he heard about the story. He wants to meet you. So we're going to drive you there. So they brought him to the Rabbi, and Rabbi, of course, has this private audience with this guy, and this guy, he knew that rabbis usually keep the secrets, right? So he said, Rabbi, I have to tell the truth. You know why I got into this car? It's not like I'm such a holy person. I'm walking on the street and see who to save. No. It's not me. I'm still the car. That's my business. The rabbi said, oh, that's what you do? Said, but it's not good. That's not what Jews do. He said, yeah, I know, Rabbi, maybe one day I'm going to change my profession, but for now, that's what I'm going to do. I say, okay, that's you should not do. Yes, no, and Rabbi said, you know what? Rosh Hashanah is coming, and all of us are praying to make us to have special merits in the merit of what we're going to get forgiven, right? And so the special merits that we have a special standing with HaShem. And he said, you see, you did a mitzvah that many of us, including me, never had the opportunity to do. Right? So to save the Jewish life, it's a special mitzvah. Not so many people never have this opportunity. Like literally, he saved the Jewish life. So he said, and you must understand, you did not save just little baby. Right? You say you saved his children, his grandchildren, great grandchildren until the time of the Mashiach. All of these are going to be holy people studying Torah. It's going to be in your merit. So the rabbi said, I demand to know what the special merits that you have, right? That brought you to this mitzvah, to this opportunity, to this mitzvah. And this thief thought to himself, and he said, look, Rabbi, I'm not religious, but maybe one thing I do a little different than most of the people. Rabbi said, okay, I'm listening. So what is it? He said, before stealing a car, so I open up the car, it's easy for me, right? And then I go to the glove compartment. When people have insurance, all of this registration card, and I see what kind of insurance they have. If they have full collision, full comprehension insurance, they would cover this theft of the car, so I would steal. But if they have the simple insurance, like for older car, like they call it where we live, liability insurance. Maybe meaning what? So if we do damage to somebody else, so our insurance is going to pay for that damage. But if but for our damage, then they're not going to pay. Okay, so that's of course it's cheaper, but if a car like that is going to get stolen, nobody's going to repay. So you have to have comprehensive, this full collision, comprehensive insurance, and like full coverage, they call it in different words, right? So he said if it's full collision. So meaning that these Jews, he said, I understand I'm stealing from Jews. Of course, they go through a little trouble and they have to call insurance. But at the end of the day, they're not going to lose anything monetarily, right? But because the insurance is going to pay. Insurance always wins. So okay, but if I see that it's like a simple insurance, so I just close the glove compartment, close the car, and I walk out. So meaning that person has, even though he would steal from the Jews, he had a very big mercy. And this rabbi say, Rabbi Shalom, right? Rabbi Shalom, look at what kind of nation we have. Look at the thieves. Even thieves are so merciful. Even if these thieves are looking into this, they of course they have to steal whatever they have to, but another hand they try to look after the welfare of another Jew. You understand? So that's the story. So that's what you see, like how Jews are different from all other nations of the world. We have the special that fourth side to the type of fourth part of the neshama, right? Neshama Israel, meaning Jewish soul that comes to person when he's born from Jewish mother or through the conversion, doesn't matter. Same part of the neshama that other nations do not have. Okay, that's even with thieves. That's the story. So I'm sure, I'm not sure, but maybe you heard the story before. But today it's. I said, of course, I have to go over these details, but that's an amazing story, true story. Okay, so let's stop here. Baruch HaShem. I'm glad that you like the story. So thank you very much for learning with us. It was a very successful week. We did overtime every day, Baruch HaShem, and let's continue even stronger next week. Thank you. Good Shabbos, and until Monday. Bezrat HaShem. Thank you.
Good Shabbos.
Thank you.